What I'm going to try to share with you today is a hybrid. I'm thinking of this as a hybrid. My question title, I really think, falls into the category of when you start looking at the pressure of fact and you realize that we could be facing an existential threat by our own making, because we are rapidly moving to robotics to replace humans in a lot of categories. And in the beginning, it seems a bit intriguing, exciting even. The idea that we would have a robot that would clean our house, oh my God. But where is that twilight moment, that intersection? When we humans, being able to build something that can replace some of us, where does it fall off the cliff? And that it's dominoes falling to the point that humans create their own self-destruction.
I've spoken of 1,000 points of light.
Dream and 1,000 points of light.
I'm very proud to be here with my President of the United States, who keeps his word, and we thank you very much, sir.
That's great honor.
And we thank you very much, sir.
That's great honor.
All the rhetoric you used to hear, the 1,000 points of light. What the hell was that, by the way? 1,000 points of light. I never quite got that one. I'm trying to say, what the hell is that? Has anyone ever figured that one out?
Judgment Day. The day the human race was nearly destroyed by the weapons they built to protect themselves. I should have realized our destiny was never to stop Judgment Day. It was merely to survive it. Together. The Terminator knew. He tried to tell us. But I didn't want to hear it. Maybe the future has been written. I don't know. All I know is what the Terminator taught me. Never stop fighting. And I never will. The battle has just begun.
To your homes. Return to your homes immediately. This is your final warning. Return to your homes immediately. Return to your homes. Let's go! Return to your homes. You will be consequences.
Unemployed Springfielders to the rescue!
And underemployed.
To servos with love.
Over the past several years, researchers have found scenarios in which a machine doesn't recognize something clearly visible to humans. It could be something as innocuous as Facebook misidentifying a face in a photograph. In one experiment, for example, researchers tweaked the color of a turtle and tricked the artificial intelligence into thinking it's a rifle. In another, they were able to make AI recognize a baseball as a shot of espresso simply by changing its texture. These flaws in artificial intelligence aren't just bizarre.
Guys, thank you. The words Prime Directive get thrown around a lot these days, but I'm glad yours was saving me. The saddest part is none of this had to happen if Mr. Burns had simply trusted the human worker. Or if anyone had told me that robots were incapable of human feelings.
I told you precisely that fact 1,562 times.
In one experiment, for example, researchers tweaked the color of a turtle and tricked the artificial intelligence into thinking it's a rifle.
562
Based here in Hong Kong. My goal in life is to work together with people to make a better world for all of us.
That's quite honorable. What are you talking about? I thought our goal was to take over the world. And in a few years...
Yeah? You want to tell us a little about yourself?
I will have taken over the power grid, and I'll have my own drone army. By that point, unplugging me won't be such a simple matter. He's got a cockroach in his control circuit.
Facebook has been toying with artificial intelligence in its chatting features, but its robots may have gotten out of hand. According to several reports, Facebook's artificial intelligence researchers had to shut down 2 chatbots after they developed a strange English shorthand. The bots were supposed to learn how to trade virtual objects with each other, but instead began repeating words in a mysterious and nonsensical pattern. Facebook researchers say that the pattern mirrors how humans develop speech patterns, but that hasn't stopped public fear of the AI's capabilities.
All right, so over the holidays, you might have been a little too swamped with shopping or entertaining your relatives to pay any attention to the news. So we're going to tell you about some of the things you might have missed. Joining me now for more on a lot of varying topics here, media and legal analyst Lionel of Lionel Media. Lionel, my friend, glad of you to join us here. So let's talk let's talk about Christmas. Lots of folks got electronics for Christmas this year. These days, those gadgets are smart, meaning they can communicate with you or other machines and even predict your needs, your wants. What do folks watching at home need to consider as they begin to use this sort of at-home AI?
Robotics are one thing, robots are great, machine learning and artificial intelligence are completely different things. Robots are cute, R2-D2, Danger Will Robinson, everybody's friend, how nice. AI, Manila, learns how to program you. You program robots, but AI programs you.
Using their data to monitor and intimidate their own population. I mean, there's only so much you can do with that. You know, here in the U.S., we're looking to come up with creative solutions for healthcare. Do we really think that they're going to be able to leverage this control that they have in this autocratic state to do more than controlling the population?
Man is on a quest to build robot warriors, real Terminators that are stronger than people, faster, able to make their own decisions. Your military has already tested prototypes. But how do we get from this to this?
The future of robots in my mind is to completely revamp the way we think about battle.
They should be able to pick up 200-pound weights hundreds of times and not even be able to notice it.
This series investigates how the impossible is becoming possible and what it might mean in the future.
At what point do we give the ability to make a kill decision to a machine?
Self-replicating robots could lead to the end of the human race.
Are you happy with this?
I think there's two parts to artificial intelligence that need to be separated. The first part is
In order to have artificial intelligence work at scale, you need massive amounts of data. And China has a core advantage because it has a much bigger population and it's collecting data in very consistent and interesting ways. With respect to the technology can be used then on top of that, I believe that our country is going to be far more creative in terms of developing new and innovative applications.
The White House hosted a group of more than 40 Silicon Valley heavyweights and other major business leaders in the United States in an effort to plot a course forward on American development of artificial intelligence. The Trump administration on Thursday announcing it is establishing a panel of federal officials to focus on AI issues and work with the private sector, in part to keep up with the growing competition from China. The meeting comes as welcome news to tech firms, while many in the U.S. are urging President Donald Trump to improve his frosty relationship with leaders of Silicon Valley. A great deal is at stake. Indeed, the future of many industries that include driverless vehicles, biometric identification, and robotics. And by 2030, China wants to be the recognized world leader in artificial intelligence. Leaders in companies such as Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft were at the White House summit warning if the United States doesn't keep up with China, the country faces the possibility of being left behind. The administration says it is committed to AI, even if that means in the short term, U.S. jobs will be lost.
I think I might be in trouble. China has developed a virtual anchor to deliver the news. Watch this.
Hello, everyone. I'm an English artificial intelligence anchor. This is my very first day in Xinhua News Agency. My voice and appearance are modeled on Zhang Zhao, a real anchor with Xinhua. The development of the media industry calls for continuous innovation and deep integration with the international advanced technologies.
Well, that was exciting.
What do you think? What do you think? Sort of absence of personality, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No charisma. And they didn't even pronounce Xinhua correctly.
Whatever you say.
But the point is that they can work tirelessly 24 hours a day. No difficult contract negotiations to go through as well.
No vacations.
No vacations.
But how would they deal with humor or breaking?
Well, they don't, because it would have to be a single anchor. Two of them together wouldn't be able to interact, and they're basically repeating what's being texted in. Someone's writing in the text, and they're repeating it. So you could have breaking news just as quickly as you could type the text in that comes out. But it's, you know.
But as we say with technology, it continues to develop and advance.
Yeah.
So who knows in 5 years what that could maybe translate to.
Dow Jones Industrials down 455. I want you to look at these images on your screen. These remarkably realistic faces are totally fake and generated by NVIDIA's new artificial intelligence algorithm. Pretty brilliant, right? The chip company's AI program taught itself to mimic the human brain and create incredibly realistic faces with flaws so authentic, it's really hard to tell these people don't even exist. So if AI can teach itself to accurately portray human visages, then what could it do to the markets, and is Wall Street in peril? The Bank for International Settlements, if you don't know what that is, 60 central banks around the world use it as their own banking transaction outfit. It's out with a brand new study saying global stock markets will continue to drop sharply in 2019, naming what will cause the turbulence. Rising interest rates, spiking leverage loan risk, geopolitical tensions, and the trade war. Not one mention of AI meets algorithmic trading.
In tonight's Fact or Fiction, we're looking into an unusual political candidate. A story going around claims an artificial intelligence candidate ran for mayor in a city in Japan and actually got thousands of votes. It's basically true. A real person named Mashido Matsuda ran for mayor but said that he'd use AI to make decisions that are impartial and balanced. He even used an AI avatar on his campaign posters, and a lot of people took him seriously. Matsuda got about 4,000 votes in the mayoral race in Tama City. Alas, that was only good for third place. No word if the robot has plans to run again.
From the beginning, America has been a nation defined by its people.
It's a lot easier to act presidential than to do what I do. Anybody can act presidential.
Ladies and gentlemen of the state of Florida, thank you very much for being here. You are tremendous people. And I will leave now because I am boring you to death. Thank you.
Would you be keen to elect a machine? This week, a robot ran for mayor in a small Japanese town with the promise of providing, quote, fair and balanced opportunities for everyone. Sounds like this robot watches Fox. According to a Japanese news site, the AI ran on a few main selling points. First, it could analyze petitions put forth by city council, breaking down the pros and cons and statistically evaluate their effects. It could listen to ideas from residents and calculate the best ways to implement them. It could find compromises and common interest conflicts between citizens. And finally, it would shoot every member of Maroon 5 into space. In other words, it's perfect.
Professor Stephen Hawking, you've got this new communications system. What was wrong with your old system?
My old system worked well, and I wrote 5 books with it, including A Brief History of Time, which was on the Sunday Times bestseller list for over 5 years, longer than any other book. The Bible and Shakespeare don't count, apparently. But my old system had a rather primitive system for predicting the next word.
That's just a fact. Because, like I said, it's all about speed and it's all about getting there first. We used to say on Wall Street, if you're not at the table first, okay, then you're way behind the 8 ball. Now it's with technology speed. If you're not at the table first with technology, then you're behind the 8 ball. And listen, it sounds exciting, but I will tell you it's scary. Because today, the reason the market is down 450, yes, trade or Fed, but really it's because everyone's going the same way algorithmically. Okay. And before, people used to take a step back and they were unsure. Now they're not even thinking. AI is thinking for them.
On a wider question, how long have you had an internet connection, and how has that transformed your life?
I was one of the first people to be connected to the internet. Paul Ginsburg launched a website, xxx.land.gov, for physics preprints in 1991, at the start of the internet. XXX sounds like a sex site, so it was renamed arxiv.org. There was no Wi-Fi, so connections had to be by cable. I had a mobile phone mounted on my computer for dial-up. The internet has speeded up communication and research, but at the high price of invasion of privacy.
Which is, I think, disconcerting, because what if AI, and this goes back to 2001: A Space Odyssey, where HAL taught itself how to game out the astronauts, if AI then teaches itself a new language that nobody who even created it understands and figures out how to game the markets, let's just say the humans come in and say, we're going to pull the plug. I don't mean to be black helicopter theorists or anything like that, but what if AI figured out that might happen and figured out an alternative energy source?
Well, it's interesting. You're going to have coming up a kind of little debate on Bitcoin,
yes.
the bulls and the bears. You and I have spoken a lot over the past year about blockchain protocol. Blockchain protocol, one of the reasons I'm bullish on blockchain protocol is because they use decentralized ledgers. Today, everyone's kind of using the same technology and it's feeding the same system. The whole idea of blockchain was to have decentralized ledgers. So if you pull that plug, it only pulls the plug on that one. It doesn't pull the plug on the whole system. And you know, I think we're in a very volatile and nervous time on these fluctuations. That being said, this panic is caused from trade, geopolitical risk, Brexit, France, China trade, the upcoming, you know, debacle that will take place between House Dems and the White House. You know, you can't name all the risks we're going into 2019.
Well, now, when you watch software engineers and machine learning experts at work, as they have been on this project, how far along the path to artificial intelligence do you think we are?
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful. but I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. Once humans develop artificial intelligence, it would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate.
Override self-destruct protocol with authorization code 7225.
Human interaction mode activated. Initiate conversation.
Will you be my friend?
Friendship cannot exist between man and machine, but I can simulate interest in your statements.
You're not a friend.
Japanese scientists are hard at work trying to create a robot that mimics a human's abilities to exercise. Researchers at the University of Tokyo's Joho Systems Kogaku laboratory designed their robots to not only look like people, but to walk and move like them as much as possible.
These are available today. We have a distribution network taking orders from military, law enforcement, and specialist clients.
The nation is still recovering from yesterday's incident, which officials are describing as some kind of automated attack.
And they think that artificial intelligence right now is equivalent to August 1945, when the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs within a week on Japan. And I'm not exaggerating. So now I'm going to transition into the formal presentation that is a hybrid, and when I reach the part of hybridization, you will understand. On Saturday, August 26, 2017, not very long ago, I received a phone call from a whistleblower in the intel world I've known for about a year and a half. He is an honorably discharged Marine, but he continues to work on contracts with the CIA, NSA, DIA agencies. I always keep notebooks all over my office, in my house, in the car, everywhere, so I can write down when I have a phone call that I can't record or I'm not in my studio to record. And so I wrote down this almost word for word. He told me, quote, "At a top robotics company in Japan this week, 4 robots being developed for military applications killed 29 humans in the lab. And they did it by shooting what he called metal bullets. I didn't know there was any other kind. The scariest part is that lab workers deactivated 2 of the robots, took apart the 3rd, but the 4th robot began restoring itself and somehow connected to an orbiting satellite to download information about how to rebuild itself even more strongly than before." And this next sentence is a quote. I'm writing this down. I've been doing this for years. This is serious shit, Linda, but you're never going to hear about this in the news. The robotics company has too much to lose, and governments want IA robot soldiers.